So, hello students. Today we'll be doing a demonstration on virtual private cloud. Right. So we will create a VPC, create a private and a public subnet. We will also create a web server which is going to be hosted in the public subnet, and through the internet gateway we should be able to expose it. Then we can we'll also deal with defining a security group. So we had mentioned that security group is a firewall on a EC2 instance. So we have already spoken about that. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so this is a lab it comes as part of your AWS Cloud Practitioner Certification AWS Certificate program. So they expose you the lab, and so this is the practical to build your VPC and launch a web server in it. So how does it look like? So what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to achieve this diagram actually. So in this diagram we have a AWS cloud, right? And then AWS cloud has got regions. So in one particular region we are going to create we are going to have two availability zones. In one of the availability zone we will what is this? Yeah, so we are going to first first we are going to create a VPC which is going to span two availability zones. So if you see the green box, it is spanning two availability zones. And what is the IP range we are allocating to it? We are allocating 10.0.0.0./16, means the first 16 bits will be fixed. That means we can have so we are left with another 16 bits over here, the last two numbers. This can, we using this last 16 bits we can create around 65,536 IP address within this VPCs. So what we are doing is since we can create 65,536 IP addresses, we are going to divide these IPs into 4 subnets. 2 subnets will lie in availability zone A, then another 2 subnets will lie in availability zone B, but they will be part of the same VPC. The subnets cannot be spanning across 2 availability zones. The subnets have to be in the single availability zone, but the VPC can be in across multiple availability zone, but it has to be in the same region. Then within each availability zone we are going to have 2 subnets, which is public and private. And so the public should be able to, we should be able to configure these public subnets to access the internet using the internet gateway of the VPC. And we will be in the same way we can configure the NAT gateway, the network address translation gateway on the VPC level. So I had pronounced this this acronym incorrectly during the last lecture. I said network access something, but it is actually network address translation gateway. I had mentioned network access gateway, but it is actually network access translation gateway. So so this gateway, as we know, we can configure the private subnets, which we have 2 subnets, to have access to this NAT gateway, which is part of the VPC. Through this NAT gateway, the private subnets can access the internet gateway, and through the internet gateway it can access the internet. So we are going to create a web server, so we need to create an instance within the public subnet, and we are going to install the web server on this, and we are going to define a security group. We said security group is a firewall on an instance, so we are going to define rules, firewall rules for this particular instance, what traffic can come in and what traffic can go out. So the public root table will look like, as we said, all these IP addresses will be local. So if you would say 10.0.0.0, this can run from, this can have 65,536 IPs. But in the subnet we have given the range that we are going to occupy 10.0.0.024, means the first 24 bits will be fixed within the subnet and last 8 bits will be the variable bits. So this can have maximum, each subnet can have maximum 256 IPs. In the same way, all these subnets will have maximum 256 IPs, even though we can create 65,536 IPs. Right, the private root table we are configuring, this is a root table and private root tables for the VPCs. Okay, so at the VPC level we are saying NAT gateway we are configuring, and we are configuring internet gateway also, and we are saying this is local. So let's get started. Right, where is task 1? So task 1 is create your VPC. In the AWS management console, on the services menu, click VPC and launch the VPC wizard. Okay, so first let me start the lab. Okay, so the lab is ready, right? So and now we'll log into the AWS. It will log me inside. So we are getting into the AWS cloud, and it has already assigned a region US East 1. So it has assigned me North Virginia. So as it said, we have to, within the services we type VPC, and here we have VPC, isolated cloud resources. So I'm in the VPC management console. I'm in the region North Virginia, which is US East 1. So this is a VPC dashboard, and it says NAT gateway is 0, VPC peering is 0, root table already there is 1, subnets there are 6. Is it so? VPC there is 1. So this status we have not got, so that's fine. So I'm just looking at customer gateways, virtual private gateways, elastic IP. So we have done site to site VPN connection, right? And we had read about endpoint services, endpoints and endpoint services. Then we have read about elastic IPs, and we have read about we went through root tables, internet gateways. I'm not sure what is this egress only internet gateways, but never mind. We have 6 subnets within and 1 VPC. So let's see. It says but it doesn't, it just wants me to go ahead and probably create another VPC, I guess. So it says, yeah, VPC, launch a VPC wizard. Okay, so it seems like it is, we're going to launch a new VPC. We're not going to use this one, seems like, but anyway. So I'll click on launch VPC wizard, and then what? And then it says VPC with single public subnet, VPC with public and private subnets, VPC with public and private subnet and hardware VPN access, VPC with private subnet and only and hardware. So we definitely, I think we want this one, guess, right? That's what is it. So it says in the left navigation pane, select VPC with public and private subnets, right? So let's go ahead and select that one, VPC with public and private subnets, and it says a /16 network with 224 subnets, right? That is what we actually want to create, right? It's going to create, seems like it is going to create 2 subnets for us automatically. And this the range of the VPC, it will be a /16 CIDR block, and with each subnet having /24 CIDR block, right? So let's go. So that's good, right? It does this automatically, right? So it is also given CIDR block. So as I said, 5 IP address will not be given to you. So 65536 minus 5, it becomes 65531. Okay. Now what are the settings it wants me to take? Okay, VPC name is lab VPC. Availability zone is, select the first availability zone. Then public subnet, name it as public subnet 1. And select the first availability zone, right? And private subnet and private subnet 1, right? And it says elastic IP allocation ID. Click in the box and select the displayed IP address. Okay, so VPC name should be lab VPC. That's right? Correct. And specify the details of your NAT gateway. NAT gateway applies. Okay, use a NAT instance instead. Okay, it says availability zone, select the first availability zone. I didn't do that, right? Right, so this is a public subnet with 10.0.0.0/24. Availability zone will be the first one, which is there are 6 availability zone. I'm going to select the first one, right? And then another private subnet 10.0.1.0/24. We are in the same availability zone, right? And the name of the subnet is public subnet 1 and private subnet 1. Okay, and in the elastic IP allocation ID, click in the box and select the displayed IP address. Okay, so once I click, it is going to fetch me a IP address, I guess, right, from the table. So this is AWS. This is from the list of AWS elastic IP address which we are going to get, and we are going to a network address translation gateway is mapping to this IP address. So that's good. Okay, and I don't think we have to do anything else, I guess. Yeah, it says go ahead and create a VPC. So we are creating one VPC with 2 subnets and a NAT gateway. So NAT stands for network address translation. Waiting for NAT gateway status to become available. This may take a few minutes. So it seems like this NAT gateway may be shared, but this IP address definitely now belongs to me, right? Yep. Okay. Yeah, so though it is shared within my VPC. So let me wait. Okay, so the VPC has been created. You can launch instances into the subnets of your VPC. For more information, see launching an instance into subnet. Okay, so let's click OK. So we are done with that. Then what is the next step? Once it's complete, click OK, and the wizard has provisioned you now with VPC with a public subnet. Because it is a public subnet, the internet gateway is automatically configured, and that is what I'm assuming, because we didn't configure internet gateway separately. The moment we made it public subnet, this was created for us. And private subnet in the same availability zone, right, which was US East 1A together with root table. So this was the configuration which we have created right now. This is what we have created, the left hand side. So now we'll it seems like if we are going to go ahead and create the right hand side in a different availability zone of the same region, which is the second availability zone. So in the left navigation panel pane, now click subnets. First you will create a second public subnet, right? And I have to configure this, and then I go ahead and create a private subnet, and then I create this. Okay, so let me do that first, and then we'll move to the next step. So click on subnets. Oh, did I select the lab VPC? I don't think I have to, right? So I think this is mine, right? The one which I created. So you can see there are so many subnets already existing, but we can, as you know, we can create 65531 IPs, right? So, and each subnet we can have 251 IPs. So definitely there can be so many subnets. But this is the one which belongs to us, public subnet 1 and private. All this belongs to us, but AWS is created for us by default when we started the lab. So now it says go ahead and create a subnet. So I'm going to go ahead and create a subnet. I'm going to name the subnet as public subnet 2. Right, then I had created a lab VPC. This is my lab. Okay, those are the different VPC. This is my VPC. Those other subnets belong to the different VPC. That's good. Okay, availability zone is the second one we have to select, 1B. Then this does not sound correct, right? No, this is the VPC CIDR block for the subnet. I need to, within this CIDR block, I am going to take so 0 and 1 is gone, I guess, and now I have to go for 2 and 3, so which is 2.0/24, right? Right. Oh yeah, that's the thing. So that's good. And then I'll just have to say go ahead and create it, and I have network of IP address in this range 10.0.2.0. 10.0/24 means it will run from 10.0.2.0 to 10.0.2 to 255. It's a different subnet and it will not overlap with the IP addresses of the other subnet. The following subnet has been created. Good. So let's that's good. So I have a public subnet 2, right? And now I'm going to create a private subnet in the second availability zone. So I have not made it public as yet, though I've named it as public subnet 2. I need to still associate the public subnets with the internet gateway. I think that is what is going to come up next. So private subnet 2, I'm just creating the subnet, but it is neither defined as neither public or private because we have not associated. We have defined it at the VPC level NAT gateway. We'll see how they configure it. So this time again we will going to select the second availability zone, and this time I take the range of IP address for this subnet, which is 3.0/24. right? So this is the VPC range. Okay, this can have 65536 and this can have 256 IPs. So go ahead and create it. So now I have private subnet 2, right? So that's my private subnet 2, and after this now I go ahead in the so I think so this is where your you're going to start creating NAT gateways and internet gateways. So first, in the left navigation pane, click root tables. So I'm going to go ahead and modify my root table now. Right, so I can see 3 root tables, and there are 3 VPCs, which I'm not sure subnet. I'm not sure which one is belonging to us. We have created one VPC out of this 3. That is what my so select slash in the root table with main is equal to S, and yes, and VPC is equal to lab VPC. Okay, so we are defining a sorry, what was it? VPC is equal to lab VPC. Expand the VPC ID column if necessary to view the VPC name. Yeah, so that's what I was telling. I need to expand this to see which one is my VPC. Oh, there are 2. Okay, so this is the main one, which is so I don't know, there are 2. It's the same ID, but one is yes and one is no, so I'm not sure what that means exactly, but there are 2 root tables are different for this, and the first one and the second one, so we'll come to know maybe later. So I'm going to select this one, that is what they mentioned. Select the main one. Main is equal to yes and lab is equal to PC. Yeah. In the lower pane, click routes. Note that the destination 0.00 is set to target NAT something. Okay, this means the traffic destined for the internet will be sent to the NAT gateway, right? The NAT gateway will then forward the traffic to the internet, right? In the name column for this root table, click the pencil, then type private root table and click question mark, stick it. In the lower panel, click subnet association. Okay, so first let me, there are too many steps, so first let me, so I have selected the root table with main is equal to yes and the one which belongs to my VPC. Then I go ahead and click roots, and here I see NAT 043 something. This will map to some IP address according to me. And then it says what I need to do after that. in the name column for this root table, okay, I need to change the name of the root table. And where is the name? Is it here? Note that destination in this root table is therefore been used in the name column for this root table. Okay, where's the root name? It should be on top, right? Okay, here is the name. I need to click pencil mark this one, right? So main is equal to yes, VPC ID is this, which is mine, and now I go ahead and click the name. This is a private root table, right? So as we know, private root table, is that the name? Yeah, private root table, and I say this. So in this root table we have defined a NAT gateway, so remember that. Okay, so this is the root table. In the private root table we have defined the NAT gateway. Okay, so I have done that step. Now I will go ahead and associate subnet. So it's saying take these two subnets and map it to this particular root, right? So I need to select, you do not have any subnet association, yes, but I can go ahead and edit the subnet association, right? No? Yep. And then it says I need to select the private subnets so that it can access the NAT gateways, the root table which is having the NAT gateway, which is this and this. So this will be, so remember, this is in availability zone 1, this is in availability zone 2. So this is going to give access to NAT gateway for the private subnets. So now I am done, and I can see two of my subnets, 1 and 3, come up. Then I do the same thing, but this time main is equal to no. So I'm not sure what is this main equal to no means, but it's okay. So now I take this root table and name it as public root table, and I showed there's an internet gateway associated with this root table. I'm going to configure or connect these two subnets to this particular root table with the internet gateway. Okay, so it's the same steps but with different subnets, with public subnets this time. So I have to select the second one, right? Main is equal to no and lab VPC. So second one is my public, so I select that one, and I need to unselect this and name this as public root table. So both these root tables belong to the VPC. Okay, once I do that, I associate, I can see there is already one subnet associated. That's what happened that day when we created a public and the private subnet in the beginning. It associated that subnet with the this public root table. So now I'm going to add one more because one more is missing. So let's go ahead and edit it. Right. So I need to select this one, right? Public subnets. There are two subnets now, and go ahead and click save. Right, so I have two subnets associated with the public root table, which has the internet gateway, and 2 subnets associated with the private root table. Okay, next, so it seems like my VPC is ready, right, with the subnets associated with the NAT gateway and private subnets associated with the NAT gateway and public subnets associated with the internet gateway. And since they are all part of the same VPC, they'll all have internet access. The private subnets will have internet access through the NAT gateway, and it will then go to internet gateway. These are different IP addresses associated with it. So this is done. So now we'll go ahead and create a security group, because we have to create a web server, remembers, and that web server we need to go to run it. We are going to run that web server on a EC2 instance. So we are going to create a EC2 instance also. So before we do that, we create a security group which will define the rule saying enable HTTP access. Okay, so security groups, where is security group? Create a VPC security group. Okay, so this security group will apply only to this VPC in that case. So here we have security groups. So this is for the instance, this is for the network. Network means entire VPC. Okay, so I already have 2 groups, but I think I need to create a third one, right? Create security group, then configure group name as web security group, description enable HTTP access VPC lab VPC. Okay, so let's create a security group. The name will be web security group, which means I'm creating the security to enable HTTP access, right? That's what it said, right? Yep. And I'm going to associate it with my VPC. There are 2 VPCs, but I'm going to associate it with my lab VPC and go ahead and create it. Right, so the group is created, and I don't think we have, so this is a security group over here. We have not yet defined the rule. Okay, so now you will add a rule to the security group to provide inbound web request, means people can access through using this rule. They can access my web server. So first let's just define the rule. Select web security group, click inbound rules, edit rule, click add rule, and type of HTTP access from anywhere, permit web request. So first I select this security group, then I define the inbound rules. Inbound rules means what can come inside the network. So I go ahead, there is no rule right now, it's empty, right? So let me expand this a little bit. So there are no rules, and I'm going to add a rule now, which is an inbound rule. Outbound rule means what IPs from inside the network can go outside on the internet, and using what rule on which instance. So let us go ahead and edit the rule, and let's click add rule, and we need to configure HTTP, right? So by default it will assign TCP protocol, port range, and AT. So AT is a port which is going to be given access to. Source can be from anywhere, right? So anywhere would ideally mean if inside my network somebody wants to access a website, right? So anywhere means 000/0, and description would be, what is the description? Permit web request. So this rule we are just naming it as permit web request. So this is how you give web access. So we added the rule, and now we'll save the rules. Close. So do we have a rule? Yep. So we have rules for HTTP access. All right. So I think this is for IPv4 and this is for IPv6. I'm not sure, but I think that is what it is. Next, we have to create a instance with a web server on it. So we have done a exercise on creating instance already, but let's go ahead and do it again for this lab. So services EC2, launch an instance, create an image Amazon Linux 2 of type t2.micro. Next, configure instance details. So we will do that later. First let me do all the steps. So in services, so I click services, I select EC2, so I want to launch an instance, right? So it's a new instance, so I'm going to create one new instance. So we are creating a machine now, virtual machine. So we are going to select Amazon Linux 2 AMI, right? Go ahead and select that, and by default t2.micro is selected for us already, which is going to give us 1 GB of memory with 1 CPU. Now we will click configure instance details. Okay, now it says you need to make it as part, create this instance in the network lab VPC and make it as part of public subnet 2, which means we are going to put it in the second availability zone, and auto assign public IP means whatever IP address range belongs to that network, one of those IP addresses will be given. Let me see, I don't know, I think public IP address will be different from your intranet root table IP addresses, but let's see, okay, how it works. I think it's going to be public IP address is something that can be accessed from the internet, so that has to be, something that the IP addresses which we have created in the subnet is local, it's local to the VPC. Outside people cannot see those IP addresses except for elastic IP addresses if you have assigned to an instance or anything else. Okay, so let's go ahead and select a VPC. This is a VPC, lab VPC, and we want to, it is already assigned public subnet 2, which is good for us, and if not, there are 4 subnets, but we are going to launch our instance in this subnet 2, and we are going to, it says auto assign public IP. What was the setting? Enable, right? So enable this, let it assign automatically to this instance, and I don't think anything else. In advanced details we need to install the web server, so we need to run this code to install the web server. And so we're going to go to advanced section down. In user data we are going to paste this code, which is going to install the web server, and then we will move to the next step, which is click next, add storage, use the default add tags. You will use the tag to assign a name to the instance, so we'll add a name web server 1. So this instance we will name it as web server 1, and then we will add a security group. So before we do that, let's first finish this step. So next, so we have made, in this step we have made the instance to be part of our VPC within the subnet, which is public subnet 2. So click add storage. So it said take the default storage. I'm not going to change that. Then I'm going to click add tags, and in the add tag I'm going to name it as I can name anything, but I'm just going to go ahead with the name which they have selected, web server 1. So in case if you have 2 web servers, you can keep numbering them accordingly. Then we'll go ahead and associate a security group which we had created earlier for this particular instance, and in that security group we are allowing HTTP access, right? So create a new security group? No, right? We need to create and select an existing one. We have already created. So but let's see the steps. It says select an existing security group, select web security group, this is my group, right? And then review and launch it, right? So let's go ahead and select an existing, so which is this default VPC. No, I want this one, right? Enable HTTP access, this is mine, which will allow me access to port number 80. So review and launch, yes. We will not be able to connect to this instance as a AMI requires port 22 to be in order. So this is for SSH remote login access, which we don't want anyway, right? We just want to access through the website on port 80. So let's go ahead and create it. So we have almost done now. Now we'll click launch and we'll select the whatever pair they give us, and we'll say acknowledge and launch instances and view instances. Okay. So let's go ahead and launch. Choose an existing key pair, which is Waki, no problem, and right, and launch instance. So now my instance will be launched. Your instances are now launching. Okay, that's good. Let's view this current status. It's taking time. Okay, so my web server has been instance is running, and it's in availability zone US East 1B, remember, and we wanted to see the public IP address, right, what it has assigned. So you see the public IP address is the address which is different from my local IP address. My local IP address it has to be something like 10.0.2.0, but this is mapping to 54.146.147.130. So this is what the external people on the internet can access using this IP address. Okay, so it says copy. So I need to, now my web server is running over here, right? So my web server ideally should be available. Let's copy. Okay, public DNS. So it wants me to copy the DNS. Okay, so remember this name is mapping to this IP address. It is defined in the DNS table, and DNS is stored in Amazon has its own DNS service, right? And that service name is Amazon Route 53. That's where your public DNS and public IP address is registered. So now that we have done that, and now our web server is running, instance is running. We are going to access from the internet, we are going to access this instance. So where do we go? Yeah, so it says open a new browser, paste the DNS and press enter. You should see the web page displaying the AWS logo and instance metadata values. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste this and click enter. So let's see whether my website is running or not. So this will going to map to my IP address, and I've got my page. So this is the default page it is giving me. I can have my own HTML page over here if I want, but so it seems like we are done, and so that's the end of the lab, and that's how simple VPCs are created in AWS, right? So so if you earlier days when you wanted to become a network engineer, probably it would have been a little difficult, but right now with cloud, at least on cloud, things are much easier, right? It is the same steps that you would do in your normal networks, but when you come to cloud, it automates so many steps for you, right? It has the NAT gateway automatically created for you, right? So you can, there are a lot of things it does automatically, and you have to just select the NAT gateway and things starts working. So it's easier to do things on the cloud. So this is your website, and now I think we can go ahead and end our lab. It took us around, I think, 40 minutes. So that's it, and we'll continue in our next session next time. So thank you, and first let me end the lab. Yes, that was pretty easy. It's closing, fine. Okay, so bye, and have a good day.